Spanish Grand Prix, but morning warm-up was marred by yet another serious accident. Murray Walker has the details of the day.
There's a tense and worried atmosphere at Barcelona, scene of tomorrow's Spanish Grand Prix, after the tragic events at Imola and Carl Wendlinger's crash at Monaco. The governing body of motorsport have introduced contentious new regulations designed to slow the cars and improve safety, but they failed to prevent another accident to newcomer Andrea Montermini. Andrea won the Formula 3000 race here last year. Due to make his Formula 1 debut tomorrow, he had this enormous crash in his Simtek today when he ran wide at the last corner, lost control and slammed straight into the tyre-clad wall. It was a mammoth impact, but the latest news is that the strength of the Simtek saved him from anything worse than a broken toe and a cracked heel. Injuries that seemed unbelievably light when you looked at the shattered wreckage. On Friday morning, when the first practice was due to begin, we were in doubt about whether there'd be a Spanish Grand Prix. Only 5 of the 14 teams emerged onto the track as their principals, drivers and the top men of the Constructors Association and the governing body rushed about, grim-faced and urgent, in and out of meetings to discuss technical rules for the future. For they were worried about the effectiveness of the planned changes, especially after wing breakages that the Ligier and Lotus teams had experienced in post-Monaco test sessions. By qualifying time, though, agreement had been reached as the cars rolled onto the track in perfect weather. Max Mosley, president of the FIA, was very positive.
We must stick to the calendar and we must stick to the degree. But if the teams unanimously come forward with an alternative proposal for any one or more of the measures that achieves the same reduction in performance or increase in safety for the driver, then if it's a reasonable suggestion, achieves the same, we'll do it. We're quite happy to do that. Now, for example, reducing the engine power, the engine manufacturers have unanimously come forward with a proposal, which I'm going to present to the World Council next week, which will reduce the engine power, but in a different way to the one we put forward. No problem. What we're looking for is the engine power. Same with the fuel. They've come forward with a very good suggestion for the fuel. Problem with the chassis people is that they're still arguing. Well, we're saying it's very, very simple. We will stick to the letter of what was decided in Monaco and voted by the World Council subsequently, or you come with alternative proposals that achieve the same thing. What we will not do is back off. The only exception to that would be if somebody came along and could demonstrate to us that it would be safer to put one of those things off for a race than to insist on doing it immediately. We would look at that very seriously if it was a good argument. But fundamentally, the thing stays exactly as decided.
The drivers were concerned too. They asked for and got a chicane of tyres to reduce speed at a potentially dangerous corner.
We have just 2 solutions. Either we're going to use this chicane. If somebody has a better solution, okay, we always like to listen. But without this chicane, we're not going to race. To slow down the cars, we don't want any reduction in the aerodynamics without a power reduction, because the relationship we all think is not the right anymore, and we have to bring back the relationship of power and aerodynamic, and that's what is going to happen now in the future, and that's what we were asking for.
Frank Williams has appointed the talented young Scotsman David Coulthard as replacement for the great Ayrton Senna in his team, which is in great need of success. It's a tough challenge for David at his first Grand Prix.
I need to dial myself into the new car and then really just go as if, you know, what I've been doing in testing. Try and be as quick as possible, as consistent as possible, and really dial myself into the circuit, into the whole atmosphere of a Grand Prix.